Here comes your pre-market summary for Friday, April 21st. Futures struggling to find any kind of ground or support right now as we head towards the open for what's going to be an interesting morning here with a number of individual headlines setting up as far as stocks are concerned. But we also have some economic data coming up that could move things as well. Here's how things are looking right now. 0.17 for the S&P, the Dow basically flat. Just sliding into negative territory, about 0.4 for the NASDAQ, currently leading the way as far as downside movement is concerned. 0.17 there for crude oil, about 1.5 for Ethereum, Bitcoin back to the downside as well. Here's what I'm talking about. 9:45 going to be the first one, services PMI, and then the manufacturing PMI coming up at that point as well. Typically, it's the bigger number that comes at 10 o'clock that's typically moves the market on the PMI side, but today we're only getting the S&P. So we'll have a look at the S&P services and manufacturing PMI data again at 9:45, and then some oil rig count data coming up at 1 o'clock, as it typically does on a Friday. Here's how the market's looking, as we've all seen over the past couple of days. Pretty muted action for both the S&P and the NASDAQ, holding at the top end of the range. NASDAQ just working into this tight consolidation. Speaking of, Meta back on watch this morning because of this. The Wall Street Journal reporting more job cuts potentially coming, specifically out of the UK. They'll slow hiring as well right across the board. So we'll talk about Meta coming up here at 8:30. TSMC on watch as well. Q1 profit coming through 2% higher year over year. On the bigger side of things, though, TSMC, one of Apple's biggest chip suppliers. So Apple getting a little bit hurt as their forecast was worse than expected, specifically for the smartphone area. So we'll talk about that for Taiwan Semi. Tesla bouncing as well. Yeah, Kathy Wood in there with both hands yesterday, buying up 256,000 shares of Tesla because she thinks it's going to 2,000 by 2027. I don't know about that. Bloomberg reporting as well that this investor group in Tesla raising concerns over Elon Musk possibly overcommitting and hurting the overall EV market. So we'll talk Tesla in general right across the board. Big move for Wish. Context Logic up on this. 50 million share repurchase announced by them. Chinese ADRs downside again this morning. Alibaba leading. Brazil announcing a digital tax. There's all this geopolitical tensions and concern topping headlines this morning as well, and they have been throughout the week. So we'll talk about those. Procter & Gamble out with earnings this morning, and this little Chinese construction name, WLGS, making a big move so far in the pre-market. Grab the watch list, guys. Use that QR code, bottom of the screen right now. Good to be back. We'll see you shortly on TraderTV.Live.